Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob. My name is Caliban. There is power in a union.
And we're a couple of magical people ready to Moon Crisis make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 149, Yume no Kagami, Amazon Saigo no Stage in Japanese, Mirrors of Dreams, The Amazon's Last Stage, the English translation, and the English title, Eternal Dreams.
Yeah, but forget all that, though.
Yeah?
Why is it being in a union funny?
It was the way you sang it.
Oh, I just sang it like Billy Bragg does.
All right.
Man.
No, being in a union is positive.
I agree.
Yeah.
And what's going on in Hollywood? Thank God this show was made 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know. Well,
and thank God Crystal's over, right? For a lot of reasons.
It's in the can.
For a lot of reasons.
It's in the can.
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
The actors are on strike now.
The actors are on strike. They're joining the writers.
The writers are on strike.
Yes.
The directors made a deal.
Yes. Well, screw the directors. You're not standing with us, man. Why did the
directors get exactly what they wanted? And I've seen this. You see this all the time.
Yep.
This is, Comrade Cal is here. Oh you see this. It is a sickness. It is programming. You see this all the time. People go, if I wish I had as much money. Why does an actor need more money? It's like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
The Brad Pitts of the world, you know, that up-and-coming actor Brad Pitt. He is in the 0.0000001% of earners for actors.
Yeah.
Most actors do not earn much. Most actors are background players. They're extras, to be totally honest with you. And one of the things that the Association of Movie Theaters and Motion Pictures and all that, I think I got it right there. Movie theater owners and specifically is one of the things they want to do is replace background extras with VR CG people. They want to offer background players like $100 to scan their likeness, and then they're just going to like have digital people because you're not really focused on. You can get away with that. You can't make a CGI Brad Pitt. I'm sure it's already happened in a movie. That doesn't convince you yet. Mm-hmm. It will someday. But the background players, we don't have to pay them anymore. So we get rid of that expense. Writers.
I think that's absolute
every
BS.
Dumb commercial, Sunny D commercial you see is written by somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the guy writing it doesn't want to write it, but he needs the, whatever the fee is.
The money, yeah.
And so we can just have a computer write Sunny D and we're done. That's what this is all about.
Yes.
It's also about the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty. God only knows if there hadn't been COVID and there hadn't been the ups and downs in the physical theater business and in the virtual streaming business. It's not virtual streaming. I just mean in the
streaming business,
the digital online internet worlds. Mm-hmm. If that wasn't there, who knows if we would be here right now? Maybe the unions would say, we deserve more money. And the theater people would come out of their Scrooge McDuck pile and go, you know what? You're right. Here's a few more coins. But because they're kind of up against the wall, they want to try to take it out on the people that work for them and create all the things that they have. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we're here.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's important to understand what these people are fighting for. These people are not rich people.
No.
You put the rich people out there so they go, hey, support this because you know me, I'm Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Not the CG Brad Pitt, I'm the real one.
Right.
I know you've been fooled before.
And people who you do know, the famous people, can stick up and talk about the extras and the bit players and the people who have smaller roles.
Yeah. And it's no surprise that this has happened a couple times in the last 20 years.
Of course.
Is because it keeps changing.
Yeah.
And for years and years and years, it's, Sid Caesar's just going to do something and then his writers are going to get paid or whatever it is. We didn't have to do that, but things are changing. The compensation is changing and it's a visible industry. There are plenty of non-unionized workers. Mm-hmm. Great example from Hollywood. VFX artists aren't unionized.
Right.
And so for that reason, there are companies underbid for things to get projects with studios. And then they pass on the suffering to their workers who have to work 80-hour days and are always working.
Yeah.
And so it's a visible business. Now, fast food workers, they should have a union too. They absolutely
Everybody should have a union.
Everybody should.
That's my opinion. But
you're hearing about this because you're not going to get your treats and
Yeah.
you're not going to get your little shows.
Uh-huh.
And that's going to be put off because of this thing. And that's why you're hearing about it. But it's not, you can go without your little shows. In fact, more than ever, there are more shows. Get into Columbo.
Yeah, Columbo's
I don't know
great.
who dropped the ball on Columbo licensing, but you can watch it for free, on Roku or wherever,
Yeah.
Get into an old show. You don't need your new shows right now. You need the people who make your shows to get what they need.
So they can live and keep making shows.
So anyway,
for you.
I don't know why we're saying this on a Sailor Moon show, but as people who have been, in varying ways in the entertainment business, it's something that is important to me. And you're a proud union member.
That's right.
And so we just want to represent.
Absolutely.
This is a union house.
That's right. In this house, we stand unions.
You're going to pay your dues.
But I feel like the U.S., America devalues artists. Like other countries, other cultures, I think have a deeper or better value for artists than the U.S. does as a whole. And like I don't feel like...
Weigh in, international listeners.
Yeah, well, I just feel like people like just take for granted that TV is just always there or movies are always there, and like don't think about all of the things that have to go in to make the TV episodes come to your TV, There's another really big strike on the horizon. UPS is about to strike in August.
Yeah.
And that's going to be one of the biggest strikes in U.S. history, 340,000 workers. I also heard today that DHL and Amazon are also planning to strike.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah. At least the Amazon drivers. So.
FedEx cleans up. I don't know. I don't know if this affects you, if this is your industry. But I hope that you have, union membership if one of it is available to you because it is advantageous to you.
Yeah. And if you don't aren't a member, talk to somebody who is, find out information.
Or maybe you're enjoying your PlayStation that you bought with the money that you would have given to union dues.
Here's the thing.
How stupid do you think we are?
I know. And I feel like I think of it as like an investment in, helping you have a better work environment. And that's something that we all deserve as human beings.
Nobody's getting rich.
No.
Well, none of the unions I know. Nobody's getting rich off of that.
No, that goes to, unions like paying for folks who are doing the bargaining for you at the bargaining table. So they get paid, fighting for you.
And for the crappy pizza
right
at the union meetings.
Yes, that too.
Well, going from people who aren't working for a good reason, here's something that's not working for no reason that I can figure out. The Q&A is broke again.
What?
So
what?
I should just not do anything. And that's what I decided. Remember, I decided I wasn't going to do anything. This is like Heisenberg's cat, only no matter what, the cat is dead. So if I look at the cat...
Heisenberg's or Schrodinger's?
Well, it's the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Schrodinger was the guy that came up with the thing. So it's...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I look at the cat, it's dead. If I don't look at it, I'm like, I think it's dead.
Maybe if I shake it.
So this week I decided I wasn't going to do anything. Guess what? It didn't auto-populate. And so no question appeared. So like now going forward, I could say, oh, I should definitely put one in. But I did that before and nothing happened. And so from now on, I'm not going to be doing anything with the Q&A.
Okay.
And I'm going to leave it for a couple weeks. If you are listening and like you're on Spotify or whatever it is, and you see the Q&A thing and you want to answer it, go for it. I will check these.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stop. It's my fault for trying to make a big deal out of it, to try to turn it into
It was fun.
It was really fun.
I really
Try
liked
to turn it into a segment on the show. I reached too high. The sun melted my wings. And
oh my God.
I'm just going to leave it alone. And maybe we'll revisit it in a couple weeks. And I have not had any time. Like, how do you Google... Is the Q&A working on... there's probably like a Reddit thread or something. Of course, that's another problem right now with
Oh my
Reddit.
God, Reddit.
But there's probably somebody who knows. I'll try to find the person who knows. But in the meantime, don't, if you want to leave something, absolutely do.
Yeah.
But don't think that you're immediately going to like turn around and hear us read it on the show. I want to read it on the show, but it might not even show up for me. So sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody culpa. I guess it's going to be Maya in this particular case, even though it's not really Maya culpa.
Did I say Mia culpa the other day or earlier? I think I said Mia instead of Maya. Is it Mea culpa?
It's a dead language. It doesn't really matter.
Mea culpa, Mia culpa. Anyways.
Hey.
All right. Cal, let's get into it. Let's talk about this episode.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's solidarity. Let's get together and all listen to this episode, which we have to get through to get where we're going.
That's right.
And we pick up the second half of this cliffhanger where we left off last week. Fisheye in her rival clothes, sitting forlornly on a bench in the rain. And we see once again, Usagi offer them comfort. Mm-hmm. We also see a certain winged eyeball flying away from the scene.
We do.
You always see in those old cartoons, like the hero strategizing, and then it cuts to the villain's lair and they're watching the heroes in that scene.
Yeah.
Like they're watching the TV show G.I. Joe.
Yes.
Just like you are. And you wonder, how are they getting this footage? Well, now we know.
Zircon!
They had a drone. They had a winged eyeball. Get right up in there.
Yeah, a winged flaming
and see
eyeball.
what Shipwreck is talking about this week. At the Tsukino household, Usagi is bringing tea to Fish, which sounds like a 90s band name. Tea to Fish.
It does.
Fish is drying off in Usagi's room, and I want to know, how far is this going to go? This is like an Adrian Lynn movie or something.
Oh my God.
Fish just leans in for a kiss. Sorry. My first instinct is to seduce. I made a real mess at the DMV the other day.
Oh my God.
Usagi's coming in and we see that Fish has changed into one of Usagi's baggy sweatshirts. No pants. It's happening.
Oh my God.
It's happening. What is this, flash dance? What a feeling. Usagi hands Fish a towel, but Fish stares at it blankly. And Usagi asks, how old are you? Like in fish years? What school do you go to?
Like a school of fish?
Oh, that's pretty good. This is all she's pouring the tea. She's trying to get, a sense of who this person is. She's gonna dry her off. She's gonna get her tea, but she's like, all right,
small talk.
let's see your stats.
Yeah,
the tail of the tape. Fish says, I hear that you have a lot of dreams. Given me. Fish says, because Mamo-chan told me. And Usagi says, you met Mamo-chan? Where? When? Does you being in the rain have to do with Mamo? Were you going to flash dance him? But Fish remains silent. And Usagi says, why are you remaining silent? Fish says, it must be nice to be so easygoing. I envy you, people with dreams. And Fish remembers. About 25% of this episode is remembering things. Yeah. Fish remembers the moment her world was shattered when Master Zirconia revealed the true nature of the Amazon trio, that they were not humans, but animals whose forms were maintained by rapidly fading magic. Mm-hmm. Usagi says, well, anyway, have some tea. We're out of cookies. And Fish says, what's your biggest dream? And Usagi says, you don't know. Some rival you are. And she looks lovingly at a framed picture of her in memorial. And Fish says, so that's your beautiful dream. Fish thinks that he seems happier than when they've seen him not with her, right? Mm-hmm. She says, so Mamo-chan smiles when he's with you. Mm-hmm. And Usagi says, you keep calling him Mamo-chan. That's my word.
It's a little too familiar.
Look,
step off.
Don't mess with us anymore. I'll give you this. You've got good taste in men. He's the most handsome man in the world. And Fish thinks about the time that Sailor Moon said Mamoru was the most handsome man in the world.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Don't serve tea to your enemies.
What are you feeding him? Why don't you just kill him?
Let this be a lesson,
and
kids.
Don't get into a big conversation with them. This is a revelation for Fish.
Yep.
This girl ate all the cookies. That's where they went. Also, she's Sailor Moon.
Yes.
From downstairs, Usagi's mom calls up, Usagi, can you run an errand for me? We're all out of cookies. And Usagi's like, yes, Mom. And she tells Fish, don't go anywhere. We'll settle this when I get back. I would leave.
I know.
It's just like, stay here so I can yell at you in a little bit.
Yeah.
And Usagi leaves, and Fish picks up and contemplates this photo of Usagi and Mamoru, who is like barely smiling in this photo. I mean, just to be totally honest, this is like half-a-smize.
Oh my God.
Which I guess for him is like a rictus grin. Like that's as happy as he gets.
Oh, no.
Fish thinks back to when Mamoru told her about Usagi's dreams, how she's got so many of them.
Yes.
And thinks, is that why she's so powerful? Is that why she's so powerful? The dreams?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I guess this is like dreams are currency for these people.
I guess.
You know, it's
yeah.
When it's thinly written, it's all headcanon, isn't it? And we're gonna get into it. Fish hears footsteps outside and peeks through the door to see Chibi going up to her room. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Fish creeps to the bottom of the attic stairs and hears Chibi calling for Pegasus on the Pegasus phone. Uh-oh.
Yep.
No, this is good. This is like when a cat burglar breaks into somebody's house and they find somebody chained to the radiator and they're like, call the cops. You know, they take the TV, but then they call the cops.
Right.
Fish pads up the stairs to the attic and they're like, oh, there's a lot of space up here. Oh my God, this kid's talking to Pegasus. Unaware of Fish, Chibi says, there's something I don't understand. And Pegasus says, that's why I'm here for now. Fish flashes back to Zirconia, explaining that the golden crystal atop Pegasus's head is the only way for the Amazon trio to remain human. Are we all caught up?
Yes.
Chibi says, I see. So that's how it is, I guess. What? Come on, show. Did you just fake a Pegasus call?
They did.
It could be something dumb and funny like, hey, Pegasus, why are horses measured in hands? And Pegasus could say, we don't like to talk about that. It's violence against hoof-having creatures. Can't measure ourselves. Oh, no. And she'd be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. You can't just say like, oh, yeah, you get it. She asked some dumb questions anyway.
Oh,
so.
yada, yada, yada.
Every week it's been like, what did we learn on the show tonight, Pegasus?
Right.
You don't have like a Home Improvement where Tim is at like the tail end of a conversation with Wilson. And he's like, oh, it's good advice, Wilson. Oh, don't worry about it, neighbor. Like, no, that's the whole point.
Yes.
They just yada yada that whole thing.
Right. Like maybe she could have asked something about like fish or something like that. You know?
What does she know about fish?
Well, she was with them when they were at the aquarium. She could have asked something about like last week's episode and this week's episode.
She wasn't really a big part of it though.
No, not really. But
she'd be like, how do you get mustard out of overalls? And he's like, oh, club sodas probably. We see Fish's surprised face and there's a cool transition where we hear the front door opening and there's like a half a door wipe across her face to reveal Usagi's face. Like the door is opening the scene.
That's cool.
Nice
I didn't notice that.
Take that, George Lucas. In the entryway, Ikuko
yes,
says, oh, where's Chibi? I haven't seen her in a while since I asked her to change the tire on the car. She's old enough.
Oh my God.
Usagi's like, I don't know about that. Just goes up to her room. But Fish is nowhere to be seen. Mm-hmm. Back in the invisible big top in the center of town, Fish has relayed what she's learned to Zirconia and the rest of the Amazon trio. At least, Fish tells them that they know where Pegasus is. But before they'll reveal the whole thing, Fish wants to know, can they really become humans? And not just human form. Will they have dreams? And I think it goes without saying, souls. And they're white humans, so they want, pumpkin spice lattes and and mucklucks and things like that. Oh, but it's the souls. The souls is the most important thing.
Yes.
They don't say souls.
No.
But that's what they mean.
Yes.
Tiger's Eye and Hawk's Eye are just watching Fish question Zirconia like, we don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
We've got the bar. We're happy. No upgrades necessary. Zirconia at first doesn't answer. Mm-hmm. But then she raises her hand in a claw and grips the air in front of her. And Fish clutches at their chest in agony.
Yes.
And then Zirconia twists her fist around as Fish writhes in pain. She Darth Vaders her.
Yeah, she does.
Apology accepted, Captain Nida.
Tiger's like, whoa, okay, I think that's enough. And Zirconia drops her hand as Fish falls to the floor, panting. Zirconia spits, You're just pawns! What nerve you have! Mere beasts should not speak so angrily. The camera zooms in on Hawk as he looks from his master to Fish sprawled on the ground. Put a pin in that. Mm-hmm. Zirconia says, I don't even have to ask you, right, Zircon? The eyeball atop her staff flaps its wings eagerly and projects an image into the air of Usagi meeting Fish on the park bench.
Yeah.
Zirconia says, yes, it seems that this is the girl that Pegasus is hiding in. But Fish is like, no, she's got nothing to do with this. But Zirconia says, Hawkeye, you're up. Sorry she's not a hot MILF, but you'll have to make do.
I know.
Zirconia holds out her hand again, and this time the orb that we saw last episode appears there. Mm-hmm. Zirconia says, this is the magic sphere that created your human forms. It will grant your wish again. If we add the powers of the golden crystal, you will remain human. And the crystal disappears from her hand and reappears in Hawk's as he backflips through a ring of feathers. Zirconia says, Tiger's Eye, keep Fish Eye under guard. Tiger says, yes. And Fish says, it's okay. I can get it by myself. And they stand up shakily. Tiger says, no, it's okay. Just lean on me. And Fish does. At high speed.
Yes.
Fish hip checks him to the ground and triple backflips through their own ring of water. It's like the harder you flip, the farther you travel.
I guess.
Oh man, she could be in Canada by now. Which is a long way if you live in Japan.
Yes.
Tiger says, Fish Eye, and front flips through his fire ring.
Yeah.
He's going to end up like a week in the future or something. You got to be careful with these rings.
You do.
Zirconia contemplates the now empty circus ring and says, guess that's it for the Amazon trio. We hear the creepy laughter of little girls, and Zirconia says, yeah, finish them off as you like. Point of order.
Yeah.
They're going to get the horn for you. At least Hawk is supposed to get the horn for you. Do you really have no faith in them?
I know.
mean, they failed so many times.
Yeah.
But if there's one thing they know, it's how to insert themselves into a squirming girl.
Wow. Why did you have to put it that way?
The eye tells them, look, we don't even have a picture of this girl. This is it. Like, they are about to get this thing. Mm-hmm. Right?
That's what they think.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's like, also kill them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to pit my employees against each other. They should really unionize, but.
They should.
One of the shadowy girls in
what
the
a horrible boss or
Yeah, this is not. Yeah, you don't want to do this.
No.
One of the shadowy girls in the rafters lets a blue glass orb drop to the floor of the big top, and we see it roll into what looks like a party hat.
Yes.
Oh, 2 under par.
Very nice.
The hat then rises into the air and disappears to the sound of evil giggling.
Yeah.
Go get him, hat. I don't know what's going on. That night, the squad meets on the street, and Makoto says, it's weird that she's not back yet. If you're going to start a scene, you say a proper name. Mm-hmm. I think we're talking about Chibiusa.
Yes.
But you don't know that unless you keep watching.
Right.
I guess she got kidnapped in the earlier scene. That was not clear.
Which we did not see.
No, you just have her like, that's a pretty good talk. Now I know all about stain removal. And she turns off the Pegasus phone, and then a green hand goes
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, I was confused too. I was like, wait, what happened? Yeah. I know she's not back because you said that.
It gets even weirder because we start talking about a different character because Usagi says, yeah, it's weird. And she looks over to the bench where she met Fish earlier in the day. So I love it. Chibi's missing and Usagi's not even paying attention. It's just pretty typical. Ami says, would Chibi come to a place like this?
Thank you, Ami.
It's just like the park? You guys only ever go to parks and sidewalks.
Well, I know.
It's not like girls is flashing in the background. Hey, coming up on stage number 2, Chibiusa.
Whoa, no. I don't want to think about Chibi like that.
Yeah, so Usagi says, no, I don't think Chibi would come here. And Mako says, all right, well, let's split up and keep looking. In a park, on a stage. I don't know if we've seen this stage before. It's like an outdoor stage.
Yeah, I don't know if we have before either.
Like you would do like an orchestra would play at a park or something like that.
Yes.
Usagi is standing there and she's approached by Hawkeye in some street clothes. Mm-hmm. And Usagi says, no, I don't have any pickles. Sorry. and Hawk is like, excuse me. I don't usually do this, but you're not really my type. But he snaps his fingers and his rug unfurls. And when it refurls, he's in his circus togs. And 1, 2, 3, and Usagi's on the board, and her mirror is out. This is why you don't split the party.
Yeah.
This is why. Although they do it every episode.
He, didn't try to, woo her.
Here's my seduction.
Or charm her at all.
No seduction.
Yeah, I know.
He should have had, a van, and he's like, oh, I can't get this couch in the van. Can you?
No,
okay.
Stop it.
All right, well, that's what we're talking about.
You know what
here.
he should have done? What would have tricked Usagi is, have some food.
Just be a street vendor.
Just be a street vendor.
Yeah, he's like, man, who's going to eat all this takoyaki?
Yeah. I don't know. I would have found that more amusing, but anyways.
Oh, man, I got all these green tea matcha cookies. As Hawk seizes Usagi's mirror, he hears a voice say, wait, it's not her! And Fisheye comes flipping out of a ring of water, followed closely by Tiger coming out of his ring of fire.
What year is it?
Tiger grabs... Wow, the future. What a time to be alive. Tiger grabs Fish before they can act, but Fish says, let go of Sailor Moon! Ixnay on the Ailer say unmei.
Yes.
It's Superman rules, right? So
yes.
Fish is not making it out of this episode. And honestly, I'm worried about the whole trio now.
Yeah.
A superhero secret identity is like a fatal disease that you can pass to other people with your tongue. And it's not half as fun as that sounds.
Yeah. Wow.
Hawk is like, Sailor what now? She's Sailor Moon?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm going to look even harder.
Oh, my God.
And he bends down to do so, but we hear a strange voice laughing. And the hat from before appears out of the ground. Yeah. And under it is a clown.
Yep.
Ah!
No!
I hope they cut this from the American broadcast. Terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Find out if they did at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. And this is like an old style hobo-ass clown with a 5 o'clock shadow and everything.
Yep.
We live in a society, not this guy. He lives under a bridge.
Yes.
Did you ever dress like a hobo for Halloween?
No, I never did.
That's another, put it on the board. I don't know if the audience knows that we've been compiling this graph with a threshold, and there's data points, and the data points are, this is something that we share.
Yes.
And then this is something that we
do not share.
That you don't know. And
hey!
And I do. But there is another side of
another
side of the curve, right? Where
yeah.
it's like, I don't know that, but you do.
Yes, exactly. Have you ever dressed as a hobo?
Anything, most late grunge, early 2000s bands.
There you go. There you go. Yes.
Well, because we're talking about this in our graph, I have.
And?
It sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I learned that you could make a beard out of coffee grounds. I learned that.
God.
But it's just
my God.
And this was not, look, I know I seem a million years. I'm not that old.
Mm-hmm.
This was not that long ago. And
yeah.
I bet you're still getting it today. But I think it's getting weeded out because my mom did it to me when I was a small child.
Right.
I'll just keep talking. Because probably it was common when she was a small child.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I don't want to sew anything this year. You're a hobo.
Yeah.
And nobody went, wow, how insensitive.
I was going to say, it's very insensitive. Yeah. And it's just, it makes it seem like, oh, this is fun and comical. People who don't have any homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh my freaking God. And it's just, it's really upsetting because these are real people who, it's just like, why do we have this in our society? Why can't we help people? And then also why are we making this a fun thing?
What a detour. We got here from hobos. Hobo costumes. I had a little clown nose.
Feels. Oh my God. Did you have a clown nose?
It was the decade redacted. We all had clown noses.
Okay. When you were a hobo. You were a hobo clown. Like in this cartoon.
That's the fun way to be.
Okay.
I got
like
the
in
pictures.
This episode. Oh my God.
I got the pictures.
I need to
First
see this.
$100 a month patron gets the pictures.
Gets them? Like the physical copies?
Sure. I'll scan them in high fidelity.
Okay.
Destroy the pictures.
All right.
And then only you will have the pictures. And then you can do whatever you want with it.
That's so weird. That is such a weird thing that you just said.
It's for a good cause. Destroying evidence of me dressing up as a hobo.
Oh my God.
The clown says, "A pleasure to meet you. I am Mr. Magic Pierrot." The Amazon trio are totally bewildered as the clown pops out of the ground. I guess they don't go to the all-circus meetings. He does a flying cartwheel and he butt bumps Hawk to the ground. Like clowns do. He's also like a mouse or something, or maybe a cat, Toei?
Yes. Yes, he's a mouse or a cat mouse.
You're going to have to tell us the difference between... right now, I've got two pictures. Is this a mouse or a cat? They're the same picture. Yeah. No, Toei. No. I've got this great cartoon. It's called Tom and Jerry. You should watch it. They are different animals.
Is it a mouse or a cat? Yes. No.
He's got a whiskers and a tail.
Yes.
Which is weird enough.
Yes.
He sticks his head in the mirror. Wait a minute.
Yep.
Great, extra molesters.
Yeah.
And he says, amazing, but Pegasus isn't here. And Hawk is like, who the hell are you? And the clown, I just like the fact that like these weirdos who come out of shadows can see other weirdos that come out of shadows and go, oh my God, that guy came out of a shadow.
I know.
The clown is spinning around in midair as he says, I was sent by Master Zirconia to get rid of unnecessary things. Okay, so everything that's happened so far?
Yeah.
You're just going to get rid of supers?
Yeah.
Tiger says, unnecessary things?
Tiger.
Look, he's not the brains of the team.
No, he's not.
You can't ask a lot of him.
No.
Pierrot says, check this out. And he takes off his hat and says, a pigeon will appear. And out of his hat flies a spade. The ace of spades.
Yes.
Which lazily floats towards the trio until it fires straight at them.
Yeah.
And they step out of its way and it gouges a furrow in the concrete behind them. Mm-hmm. So it's like, weird shot, but threat established.
Yes.
Sailor Moon, you know, the Sailor Senshi. What show is this now?
Yeah.
The bad guys are just fighting each other. Like, this is like when you're role-playing and the DM is just having their NPCs converse with each other. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to go get a Mountain Dew. Anybody want anything?
Yeah, you're just like all the players are just sitting around the table like, I don't know what to do right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's fun.
This is the part where the NPC is going to fight against the monsters and they're going to do 6 rolls. People's like, okay, great. I'm just going to check my email.
Why did I come here?
Tiger says, what are you doing? Remember, not smart.
Look, he's got style, not the brains.
Yes.
So
Perot says, I'm getting rid of unnecessary things.
You serious? I just told you that a moment ago.
Right.
Pierrot shoots another spade, which flies past each member of the trio. It swings back around and hits Usagi's dream mirror, shattering it! You son of a bitch!
I know.
Usagi screams in terror as the pieces of her mirror fall to the ground, as she does after the board disappears. Is she dead? Can you live without a mirror?
I don't.
How does this work?
She's like at least near to death. If not.
Does she?
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Fish thinks it can't be. Her dreams. The marshmallow. And Fish remembers the moment that Usagi showed her another flashback. Save money. Yeah. Save it. Because this is kind of a 2-parter.
It is.
So they would have to save money. They remember the moment that Usagi showed her picture of her and Mamoru. And Fish is devastated at this unfeeling cruelty that could lead to the destruction of something so beautiful. Mm-hmm. I guess they don't really give us any dialogue or anything like that. The Fish is just kind of staring. Again, a lot of this is headcanon.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going more than halfway to meet the show on this one.
I think I agree with your headcanon, though. Yeah. That's what I was thinking as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Perot says, there! Randomly, and fires another arrow straight at Fish.
Yes.
But at the last second, Hawk throws himself in front of his teammate and gets a giant hole in his chest for his trouble.
Yeah.
Hawk stares disbelievingly at the cavity in his chest as Tiger is completely stunned. Yeah. He has gone full David Lee Roth. He's like, Perot says, one unnecessary thing down. You know, they should have given this guy a broom like Emmett Kelly. You know?
He's like,
I'm sweeping up the trash.
Yeah.
He kind of looks like Emmett Kelly.
Yeah. I mean, they are clowns that sweep in the circus, right?
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
We're going to call this one a point that we share.
Okay.
Even though I think maybe we're fudging it a little bit. Hawk somehow retaliates with his breathing fire trick. He breathes a column of flames at the clown. And it doesn't come out of his chest, too. I think that'd be cool if it, like, a little bit comes out of the hole in his chest.
That would have fucking cool.
That's morbid.
Okay. But what about like a feather came out? Because he's always jumping through feathers.
Oh, when he got shot?
Yeah.
It's like stabbing a pillow. But the fire, Perrault merely catches it in his hat. Mm-hmm. Write that one down, Ray.
Yeah.
You might need that later.
Yeah.
And he tosses the hat back on his head. His strength spent, Hawk collapses and is caught by Tiger. And Fish asks him, why? And Hawk says, after all, we're expendable. That's why I wanted to capture Pegasus, so we could be human. Right now, we're too pitiful. He strains to lift his hand, and in a whiff of feathers, he produces the magic orb. And he says, take this. Fish does, and Hawk's eye dies.
Yeah.
I'll be bringing you Mommy's pickles right away.
Oh, no.
In heaven.
That's like, you put an offering out, and it's just like Mommy's pickles. Sorry.
Perrault laughs at what he's done, but Fish and Tiger launch their vengeful attacks. Fish throws a handful of knives that Perrault catches between his clawed, gloved hands.
I know, it's freaking terrifying.
And they turn into black butterflies, which is also a good 90s band name. Tiger cracks his whip at the murderous clown, but Perrault catches it, and his eyes glow as the whip becomes a snake.
Yeah.
Too Jewish. In the Bible, he's turned the rod into a serpent.
Yeah,
the whip becomes a snake,
works.
which Tiger recoils from in horror.
Yeah.
I hate snakes. I don't know if he hates snakes, but it's a scary thing. Whatever.
Yeah.
Man, this guy is no-selling these two worse than The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Perrault says, so this is the power of the Amazon Trio, one of the Dead Moon's starring acts? He's got like a smiley face on his t-shirt, too.
It's really
with like
creepy.
The eyes crossed out.
Yeah. Or like it's either eyes crossed out or like plus signs for eyes. It's disturbing.
This guy would totally be a character they invent in the 90s who's like the new Joker. And he's like even more cruel and badass than the Joker. But then the Joker kills him, but he has to do it in like a classic old school way. Like he crushes him with an anvil at just the right time or something like that. And then he's like, the old ways are the best or something like that. Or he runs him over with a steamroller. I'm just throwing out pitches here.
Yes.
You'll get there and nothing flat. I don't know. The Joker doesn't do a lot of one-liners, I guess. Tiger says, he's pretty strong. What do we do? I complain to HR? Aren't you guys on the same side? Well, we know that there is no HR department. Fish ponders the orb in their hands and looks over to Usagi's limp form. There's a plan coming together here. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what it is. They say to Tiger, I really did find out where Pegasus is. So if we use this sphere, we could become humans. But at this rate, we'll be dead before we can avenge Hawkeye. Please, let me use the power of the sphere. The power which was well established in the previous scene it appeared in.
I know.
I did not. I mean, at this point, you're just like, yeah, it's magic. But I guess like they said wish, but there was no inkling that this was a blank wish.
No.
Good Disney movie, Blank Wish. Tiger thinks about this. He wasn't built for thinking.
No.
He was made for looking good and loving hard.
Yes.
But he knows when his number's coming up. Mm-hmm. And he too looks at Usagi laying face down in the concrete and he says, are you saying, let me get this straight, you think Sailor Moon can beat him? And Fish says, I'm sure of it. And Tiger takes the orb and says, okay, let's show him the final act of the Amazon Trio. And Fish says, Tiger's eye. And Tiger says, if we're reincarnated, I hope we come back as humans. This guy's a Buddhist? Actually, a lot of rock stars get into Buddhism if he's supposed to be a rock star, like I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Ringo just wants to achieve nirvana.
Right.
From across the stage, Perrault says, are you guys ready to die or what? And Fish says, not yet. And waving their arms, they summon the ring of water, out of which drops Chibiusa.
Yes.
Trapped in a crystal.
What?
Yeah. These child snatchers are going to kick some ass.
I know. It's like I'm rooting for these guys. And then I'm like, oh my God, you kidnapped her and froze her in a crystal?
Give it to him, you chicken hawking cretins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is going on?
The crystal around Chibi dissolves as Perrault is like, what's up? And Tiger says, grant our wish, and holds the orb aloft. And Chibi regains consciousness Usagi and her mirror fragments rise into the air and reform before the mirror goes back into Usagi's body, and she also regains consciousness. Mm-hmm. Though, Minako could have got the job done anyway, but whatever. Just saying. And Chibi runs into her arms as Fish says, "Now, Sailor Moon!" as the orb in their hand shatters and the Amazon duo collapses to the ground. Because we know when you wish for a girl's mirror to come back together and her to wake up on a magic orb and there's a child in a crystal, you have to fall down and die. We all know this.
The tale as old as time.
Know this. Perot says, "Wow, the things that unnecessary items do." If he had thrown a spade at them or a pigeon, whatever.
Yeah, right.
And it was they've got to concentrate to make the wish, but it's coming at them and they we get one of those silhouette things, but they got the wish off, they oh shit, John Cena, right? And then they're like, "Oh, we did it." But they just fall down because now it's time for them to fall down. Pierrot doesn't do anything to them.
That is a very valid point. Why is this happening right now?
Well, anyway, he calls them unnecessary items, but Usagi and Chibi transform into Sailor Moon and Sailor Chibi Moon. No speech.
No speech.
Perot says, "I'll get rid of every unnecessary item. Where's my broom?" And he rips his hat off his head to attack, but Fire Soul scorches his pantalooned ass.
Yeah.
The fire worked anyway. The Sailor Senshi are here. And Sailor Venus says, "That's it for you, because why not?" Chibi races her Carillon, and with a twinkle yell, she summons Pegasus. Pegasus says, "Hey, have you guys seen Chibi Usa at all? I checked all the police stations and women's shelters, but oh, hey, there she is. What's up?"
Oh, my God.
Sailor Moon gives with the MGM, and Mr. Magic Perot stages out for the last creepy time. The blue ball rolls out of his hat, and they both fade away. Typical. The Senshi stand around all three Amazons who are laid out on the concrete like cordwood. Sailor Moon asks Fish, "Why did you save us?" And Fish smiles and says, "I envy you, people with so many dreams." Usagi, who also isn't built for thinking, says, "You're that girl?
I know.
My rival?" And before Fish can answer, all three Amazons are enveloped by their own elements. Fire, water, and feathers. And returned to their, we all, the platonic idea. Fire, water, earth, feathers.
Yes.
And they are returned to their original animal forms. 2 of them will be easier to bury. 1 harder. I'm really worried now that the Japanese think that there's tigers in the Amazon. I mean, I know it's a gemstone.
Yes.
It's also a gemstone.
Yes.
So it's, kind of on brand, but and I looked him up, and he's the leader of the Amazon trio.
Tiger is?
That's what it says.
Well,
on something wiki.
He does have the most lemurs. He does go out the most and tries to do it the most.
He with the most lemurs
wins. We know this.
The Senshi are shocked at this transformation, but wait! Pegasus is still here for some reason. He's waiting for his Uber. And his horn begins to glow brightly. The golden light hits the Amazon trio and transforms them back into their human forms. And they rise into the air as 3 dream mirrors emerge from their chests. What? No! These assholes get their wishes granted? After every... Okay, all right. They can be human as long as 6 squad cars immediately pull up and they go to jail for a long time. And get out when they're old and realize all the mistakes that they made. The trio are alive again, and they are shocked to see that they have mirrors full of dreams. Tiger can finally achieve rock stardom and get his chicks for free. Fish can find the love of another dark-haired man with an Alfa Romeo.
Oh, my God.
And you know what's in Hawk's mirror? The big jar of pickles! All 3 Amazons fade into colored orbs and enter their mirrors. I swear to God, every single season on this show. They went back to their home planet. And Pegasus rises into the air and says, "Souls with dreams will find salvation in the end." I'm pretty drunk right now. As the mirrors disappear, he says, those 3 humans will be fine. It's
Pegasus.
probably fine. Don't worry about it. I teleported them to dream jail. It's okay. Pegasus disappears as well as the sailors look to the stars. Not yet. Too soon. No stars yet.
No.
We'll get there. In the rafters of the invisible big top, the blue ball returns to its master, and Zirconia says, "It is finally your turn." And a peal of evil giggles rings out through the tent. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, in Pegasus's crystal forest, Pegasus appears with the Amazon trio of lights. They're like will-o-wisps.
Yes.
And he says, "Okay, you're free now. You guys owe me. You should live in this forest until the heat dies down. Don't molest any animals, okay?
Oh my God.
This dark forest will someday regain its light."
Oh God.
There is, and put this on the graph. I'm glad the graph is public now.
All right.
There was a country star, probably back in the 90s or 2000s.
Oh boy.
It was a lady named Deanna Carter. She had one hit.
I don't know if I know this.
One hit, one single.
Yeah.
Single, same title as the album. Title was, "Did I Shave My Legs for This?" And that's, I don't think I've even ever heard the song, but to this day, whenever I am in a situation where I have gone on the longest walk imaginable for the smallest glass of lemonade, I always think, did I shave my legs for this? This is it?
I know.
That's it?
That's it.
What? 21 episodes for glowing orbs.
For glowing orbs.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Are we supposed to feel bad for these guys?
I think we are.
This is not like Youzetaru.
Yeah.
At youzetarutm.com.
Right.
Check for the shirt. It's coming soon. It's not like we spent time and then we got to, okay, they're trying to rip people's spleens out or something, but it's for love, we understand.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like we've gotten closer to other bad guys.
Yeah.
And these guys are
not like the Ayakashi sisters.
Dumb, but not in an endearing way. They are often cruel. They are incredibly petty.
Yep.
And hammered a lot of the time in my headcanon. And they're not.
And they assault people.
And we get a last minute 11th hour deathbed face turn. Mm-hmm. And then I'm supposed to get excited about it. And then they get to live in the crystal forest. Are you shitting me?
I know. And I feel like you were like, I don't think these guys, they're not going to get redeemed.
But again, remember, I've told you before, I can't predict bad writing.
No, I know.
I can only predict good or mediocre by the numbers writing.
Yeah.
And they did exactly what I said that they did, but also the other thing I said that they did, which is that we did get a redemption, but I was saying to myself, we're almost 20 episodes in, and there is no evidence of any redemption arc. So at this point, I don't know how that could possibly happen. And no one expects bad writing Inquisition. They just do it. They're just like, they just did it, so it's fine. You know who else gathered villains to live with him in a swamp? Lex Luthor!
Oh my God.
This is like the Legion of Doom.
Wow.
Who else has he got in a glowing ball? Oh, look.
Oh, that's a terrifying thought.
Torquemada. It was the Spanish Inquisition after all.
Oh my God.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, so this doesn't happen in the manga.
No shit.
But they also don't assault people like this. I'm just I don't know what the animators, the people behind the anime were thinking. We're like, oh, so this is how we're gonna do the bad guys for this season. It's just
and then I don't know, they turns into the balls of light or something.
Yada yada yada, yeah. Whatever, and they can live in the crystal forest forever.
They get mirrors, and
yeah.
we don't. We've established. Here's the problem with establishing that looking into the mirror is a violation. Maybe something could appear. You could see something on the surface of the mirror. At this point, I reiterate, I want to see their dreams. Now that they're human and they have dreams, they've had no, at this, we know, I want underage women. I want overage women. And, I got just kind of normal desires that I'm criticized for.
Right.
And so there is nothing. And we don't ever get the idea that like, Hawk's Eye is like, man, I really wish I could, be a cucumber farmer, but I have to do this job. We never get the, if there was something like that.
I know.
We get that with the Aikashi sisters.
Yeah.
They all have things that aren't necessarily explicit, but like aspects of their personality. Like, I'd really rather be doing this.
Yes.
But I got this guy yelling at me, and so we're going to go out there and do it.
Right.
And also I'm spoiled, and I'm
very spoiled.
And kind of petty. And
yeah.
And I need to learn some lessons. Mm-hmm. These guys are just like, all right.
Yeah.
Last week, I was tricking women into letting me see inside of them. And this week, I'm going
be the same.
I'm going to horse heaven.
Yeah. Right. I know. It's dumb.
I wouldn't be me if I couldn't point out the clear allusions, maybe not even allusions, inspirations from other popular media. And if you've got a master that has control over another being and they can't get away from them, they have to serve them. And sometimes to punish them, they stretch their arm out and choke them and make them feel pain.
Right.
And you've also got a little eyeball who projects a hologram out and goes beep, boop, boop.
Yes.
This is
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Zirconia is Vader.
I mean, like, well, I don't know about that. Well, there's the Emperor. Does she have chimpanzee eyes? Look it up. Don't worry about it. It's an inside joke. You want to come at the Star Wars kid, you best not miss. You could say that about a lot of characters. Yeah, sure. And Star Wars has obviously influenced a lot of things. But I think it's funny when they're like, now the minions are getting a little uppity, so the bad guy just goes, oh, you didn't know I could do this?
Yeah, right,
the dark side of the Force.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Wait, what?
Oh, that's new. We didn't know she had that ability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's useful right now.
Yeah, for right now. Also didn't know that, like, she could summon somebody on, like, her outfit to, like, talk to them, like, project. Like, that was new. Okay. It's like we don't know that much about Zirconia at this point.
But it's all, yeah, but I don't, like, care about that. I just care about, like, because it's all magic and I like weird stuff. But when they're, like, clearly showing their influences, it goes to my accusations of laziness that I've been making for 21 episodes.
That's completely
So they're like,
fair.
she's going to do this. What about, like, you're talking back to me? Shut your mouth. Gonna keep them separated. You wanted to do the 90s thing. She's like, she waves her hand and suddenly fish has gills.
Oh.
She replaces her lungs with her original gills. And she
can't breathe. She needs water to breathe.
Yeah. And she's
that would have been interesting.
Because you're a fish.
Right.
Remember.
Right.
You think you're people. You're not people.
Oh. See? That is significantly way more interesting.
We all know that tigers that are cats are scared of snakes. So when Perot turns the whip into a snake. Although Tiger should be afraid of the whip, too.
That's,
Every once in a while, Tiger looks down at his belt. Oh!
I scared myself there a little
bit. And then
bit.
Hawk, he's got all his cucumbers laid out.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further.
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan?
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno is returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning Alcapop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kyoro Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we are going to be talking about Omiyage and temiyage, or Japan's gift-giving culture. And I will explain.
Okay.
Instead of becoming human, Fisheye and Tiger's Eye choose to give Usagi the gift of life.
You don't have to explain it. I can cut that out.
All right, no, it's fine.
No, I see where you're going. Look, as we go on, almost at 150 episodes.
Yes.
They're just not gonna go
always
to somewhere new every week.
No,
but
and they won't always be something in the episode.
Yes, but I accept the connection.
Okay.
Tenuous as it is.
Thank you. So Omiyage translates into English as souvenir, but it's way more nuanced and complicated than that, as one might expect. Omiyage are gifts that you bring back for your coworkers, friends, and family when you return from a trip. Souvenirs are often things that you purchase for yourself as a reminder or a memento of your trip. And you can buy souvenirs for other people.
Are you explaining souvenirs?
What?
Are you explaining the concept of souvenirs?
No, I'm explaining how Omiyage is different from souvenirs. Okay.
So we've established what souvenirs are.
Yes. You can get souvenirs for other people, but they don't expect them, generally speaking, right? When you go on a trip in Japan, family, friends, and coworkers expect Omiyage.
What'd you get me?
Yeah, well, so Omiyage is an obligation, and it has to be a product from the place you visited. In a work environment, giving Omiyage shows gratitude towards your coworkers, thanking them for covering for you while you were gone.
God.
Yup. Yup.
I now hate it.
It's also customary to bring omiyage to business partners, especially when meeting partners that are located far away. This shows appreciation for the business relationship. The term omiyage consists of two kanji. The first one means earth or local, and the second means product or delivery. So omiyage literally translates to local product. Omiyage should always be locally made products from the place you visit.
So our special local, honey or something like that, or whatever we produce there.
Yes. And also, like, almost all the time, well, I shouldn't say almost all the time, the vast majority of omiyage is food. It's food products. It's alcohol. What have you.
This seems like a big Omiyage has a real scam going on.
Oh
here.
Well, yeah. There's a history here, though. We'll get into it. Okay. But yeah, it's been going on for a while. So the term meibutsu literally translates to famous product or specialty product. So meibutsu is a product that is well known for a specific region. For example, Hokkaido is well known for dairy products, and a meibutsu treat is shiroi kobito, which is a buttery cookie sandwich with white chocolate in the middle.
Ooh.
They're delicious. I've had them before. They're very good. The pronunciation for omiyage originally comes from two completely different kanji.
Oh my God.
The first one means shrine, and the second one means box for ufuda at a shrine.
Right.
So let me explain. During the Edo period, people made holy pilgrimages to the Ise Grand Shrine, which is in Mie Prefecture. The shrine is dedicated to the sun goddess Amaterasu, and it is supposedly the home of the sacred mirror. This is a massive shrine. It has been really, really important in Japan and Japanese culture for a really long time. These trips took days, if not weeks. The trips were also expensive and not easy, so villages would select a representative to go on the journey for everyone in the village. So the townspeople would raise funds and give the representative a collection or senbetsu, so they would pray for them at the Issei Grand Shrine. After the pilgrim made the journey and prayed for the townspeople, they purchased meibutsu, or paper charms, from the shrine to bring back for the villagers. And it was thought, that the prayers that they made or whatever were kind of like represented or contained within.
Transferable.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Hundreds of thousands of pilgrims would travel to Issei Grand Shrine every year, and the growth was just exponential. By the year 1830, 5 million pilgrims visited the shrine.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, and that was a long time ago. Shops began to sell. They're noticing people are making these journeys, and they're buying these strips of paper. And so shops began to sell local items around Issei Grand Shrine, and they called these items meibutsu. So like the strips of paper that you would purchase at the shrine, instead of using the original kanji, that means shrine and the box that the ofuda is in, they took the original pronunciation and applied it to the kanji that are used today because they were selling local products.
Okay.
So the kanji means local products, but the pronunciation is meibutsu.
Yeah.
And the O in front is, of course, the honorific O.
Yeah, right.
So initially, omiyage were small, non-perishable products such as sake cups and fans, because representatives traveling by foot needed items that would last several weeks, right? And it needs to be small, something you can easily carry. When railroads became more prevalent, food such as manju became more popular to give as omiyage because you can get around faster. So it's like, oh, this is something special, that's around Issei. So here you go,
right.
That sort of thing. You weren't able to go on this trip. So here is a little something I'm sharing with you.
Right. We make chandeliers in this town. Go ahead, just get one for everybody. Come on.
Right.
Well, the whole village.
Individually wrapped chandeliers, everyone. Today, food is the most popular choice for omiyage. Common omiyage treats include local variations of senbei, manju, candy, cookies, small cakes, and daifuku mochi, just to name a few. Most areas in Japan have meibutsu, or some type of food that the area is known for. For example, Aomori is famous for apples, and they sell a lot of different apple treats, treats that have apples in them, apple flavored treats. I think you can buy, apples, of course, and bring them back. These are Aomori apples, everybody.
Hungry for apples.
Yeah. I think I've seen on YouTube, they have apple cider you can get from there and that sort of thing.
I kind of hate this, but at the same time, because it's so it's so graspy, it's so clear what's going on. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, these are all communities who, let's face it, the world is the way it is. It bolsters the economy. It gives them something to do. You know, I mean, there's people come to your town to see your Jizo statue or whatever, and they're going to leave with a bag full of your crap that was probably produced in China or something like that. But
no.
But it puts...
That is a big part of it.
Oh, if you do that...
It can't say made in China.
Well, no, you scratch that off.
That's a big no-no.
Scratch that off.
It has to... That's a huge
Some
part
of these places, though, must be like, oh, boy... What if their stuff is crappy and it's like, oh, I made these dolls. These are our famous dolls. And
well, I can't help if they're crappy. I don't think that that's very common.
Come
but
on, push the dolls. Push the dolls.
Yeah, right. Push the crappy dolls. That's what we want. That's what we're famous for. The crappy dolls.
But I guess
I love it.
It helps the economy of the town or the community.
Yeah, it definitely does.
But everybody has to like hawk something.
Yeah, but I mean, Omiyage is like super easy to find. Like you can find Omiyage shops in train station, airports, department stores. You can even get Omiyage at Hyakuenya or the 100 yen shops. But you want to make sure that so it's everywhere, you know?
Sure.
And you can tell it's Omiyage because of how it is packaged.
Yeah.
Because this is Japan. We know presentation is really, really important.
Yeah.
You're going to see a huge displays and you'll know it's Omiyage because they're usually brightly colored, you know, packaging, and it's wrapped really well. And then you open it up and it's like individually wrapped cookies or senbei or whatever, you know, so it's easy to share.
Sure.
So yeah, but if you're purchasing something from your office, you want to make sure that there's enough for everybody. You may want to get somebody like your boss, your best friend, or significant other, something besides food. But the key is to only purchase non-food omiyage if you know what that person really likes. Like maybe you're in a new job, you don't know your boss that well. Like don't go out on a limb and buy them a tie that you think they'll really like. You know what I mean? So just don't do that.
This is a pair of panties and a garter belt.
Right, exactly.
You know, look good at it.
I just thought you like it.
I went to Lingerie Town. What?
Right, exactly. But brand name products are really popular omiyage. Some examples of items that are popular to give are scarves, bags, cosmetics, perfumes, ties, socks, hand towels, or even jewelry. But all omiyage needs to be nicely wrapped, and a lot of stores will offer wrapping when you are checking out, like, is this a gift, that sort of thing. In 2017, the common spending range per person for omiyage was between 1,000 to 5,000 yen. So at the time, 10 to 50 bucks. But if you get like a box,
a tax on travel.
It is.
And everybody, you know what I would do?
What?
Here's my galaxy brain idea. I'd open up a secondhand omiyage store. It sounds better than the original Japanese.
Oh my God.
And so it's like, get a white elephant from your coworker. You can offload it here. We buy cheap and we sell high.
Well, so here's the thing. I read that like...
And we'll scratch the number and we'll swear that we've never met you before.
Yeah. So
you're not going to get in trouble because they bought you a personalized dinner tray or something like that. It's like, oh no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. So the secondhand stores in Japan, you can actually find a lot of really nice stuff because a lot of Japanese people take really, really good care of their things.
Sure.
I read that it is okay to get something for somebody like secondhand or to re-gift something, but you should not tell them that you did that. Don't tell them you regifted it.
Well, that's like worldwide.
Right? But like some people I feel like, oh, I got this. I thought maybe you'd like it. You know. Can't you see somebody doing that?
I got hit in the head on the way over here.
Anyways, I could just see somebody doing that.
Yeah,
but
right.
Just it's impolite. Anyways, I feel like that price has probably gone up, especially with the value of the yen dropping. So it's probably a good rule of thumb not to spend over $50 per person. And you want to make sure the gift is nice, but you don't want it to be too expensive. And I'll explain why.
Okay.
One major reason for this is the Japanese custom of okaeshi, or the return gift.
Ooh.
It is customary for okaeshi to be around 50% of the value of the initial gift.
Oh, no.
Okaeshi are viewed as a way of reciprocating the generosity of the person who gave the original gift, and it is regarded as impolite not to give an okaeshi. The okaeshi should demonstrate that the recipient values the consideration and effort that went into the original gift.
They're caught in a gift-giving circle.
Honestly,
it's
yes.
endless. It's like Zeno's gift. Eventually, you would give somebody something for 2 cents, then you give something for 1 cent, and then
Yes.
there is no half a cent. So we have reached a physical limit.
Well, and this is like, okay, this is a custom that is particularly challenging for foreigners to
I'm doing it right now.
wrap their heads around. And because, like, this is not really, in a lot of other countries, this is just not a thing. You give a gift to somebody, you don't expect anything in return. And that's fine. That's not why you gave the gift, right? But in Japan, because of this custom, they have to do all this mental gymnastics. Like, they have to try to figure out, okay, how much do I think this person spent on this gift? Now, how much is 50% of that? What would be a nice gift to get them in return? It's mind-boggling. And then I read a couple of things. Like, there's somebody who, like, worked in a Japanese office, and they had a coworker who just, like, kept, like, candy and treats in their drawer. So whenever somebody would bring, and I don't think that you necessarily need to do this, like, people bring omiyage to the office, right? You get like 1 box of treats for the entire office. That's fine, okay?
Sure.
This person felt the need to give okaeshi. So, okay, you bring in a box of senbei, and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. Here's a cookie. It's like, oh my God.
Throw.
It's like, oh my God, stop it.
Okay, Jane.
I know. And somebody else, another foreigner was like, this just can go on and on.
Yes.
But yeah, so in a blog post that I read, a foreigner was talking about how they bought a gift for a newborn, and they told the mother that they did not need to get them an okaeshi. They were very direct. They're like, you do not need to get me anything. The next week, the new mother approached the original gift giver and apologetically handed her a gift. And this is when the foreigner came to the realization that in trying to make the situation less stressful for the mother, a woman who just gave birth not that long ago, she actually made it worse because this woman felt obligated to give an okaeshi.
Here's my placenta. Here
Yeah,
you go.
I know. And she was like, oh God, why? Okay, I guess I just need to accept that this is just a part of my life when I live in Japan. So here we go. Temiyage is a different custom that frequently gets conflated with omiyage. Omiyage and temiyage are both thoughtful gift-giving customs, but temiyage isn't a gift that you bring home from your travels. Temiyage is a gift, typically also food or drink, that you hand to someone when you visit them as a guest. The te syllable at the beginning of the term means hand. Like, karate means empty hand.
Empty hand.
The te at that is also hand. It's a custom that you see all over the world. Like, you bring a dish or some wine to a dinner at someone's house, that sort of thing. But the difference is that temiyage are expected not just for dinner parties. And like, you go over to a family member's house, you bring something. For example, when I was staying with one of my host families on my high school trip, one of my host sister's friends came for a sleepover, and she brought temiyage. It was some kind of fruit, but she brought something,
Okay.
Essentially, when you go to someone's house or an event that they are putting on, temiyage are given to show your appreciation to the host. There are some important guidelines to keep in mind when you're gifting temiyage. Don't purchase anything close to the host's home. This comes off as being thoughtless, that the gift was purchased at the last minute.
Right, an ekiben from the train station right next to their house. Yeah.
Exactly. You're like, oh, I buy this every Tuesday. Thank you. Unless you are really close to the recipient, avoid gifting homemade items like baked goods and crafts. If you're giving flowers as your temiyage, give them to the recipient at the entrance and not after you've entered the room or home for the event. Avoid giving white flowers or lotus blossoms, lilies, and chamomiles, as they are associated with funerals.
Right.
If your temiyage is wrapped in furoshiki, which is a traditional Japanese wrapping cloth that you use to traditionally wrap or transport goods, or in a bag, you need to remove the packaging when you greet the host. If you don't remove the packaging, you are, quote, hiding your heart, which is thought of as rude. Yeah, so when giving any gift in Japan, if the recipient politely declines the gift, insists that they take it. Recipients expect and want the gift, and they expect you to insist they take it until they accept the gift. It's considered the polite to decline a gift before receiving it. So you offer the gift, they're like, oh no, I couldn't. No, I insist. Oh, okay. It's just this.
Okay, take the bag, just stomp on it. Okay, good. We got that out of the way.
But it's a polite dance, you know?
Wouldn't it be polite to not have this horrible system? That's the real politeness.
Yeah, I know. And in Japan, it's customary to be self-effacing and almost apologize for the gift that you are giving. Some examples of things that people typically say when they're offering or giving a gift is, and I'm going to say the English versions of this. I'm not sure if it suits your palate, but I hope you will like it. It's simple, but it isn't much. But I've heard this is popular. It's a popular sweet. So you're just kind of like,
but.
Yeah, but you're not.
Is the person's name Bud?
Yeah, okay. So you're not. You never say, "Oh, this is so awesome! You're gonna really love this." Right. Yeah, you don't do that.
You are setting expectations.
Yes.
You're not overpromising.
Right.
Yeah.
And you really hope they like it, but you're not gonna say, "I really hope you like it."
Yeah.
So when I stayed with my host families, I brought temiyage from America, and this was something that we were told, you should do this. This is polite. And, these are things to expect and what you should try to keep in mind and that sort of thing. Get somebody for everybody in your host family.
We got everybody a gun.
No. I know. That's what a lot of people in the world associate with America. It's horrible.
Straight from America.
I know. But
I just bubble out of the ground over here.
I know. I mostly got items that had Minnesota, like the Minnesota outline or the American flag on it. I also gifted some really cool decorative boxes that were made by a Native American artist.
Woo.
But I got kind of caught up in the minutia of what is an American gift, because we're such a diverse congregation of cultures. I didn't think about what's local to Minnesota that I could food wise that I could bring, or what's, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I was just what's American? What's really American?
They got corn dogs, or how does that work? You've probably seen this.
What if I bring over microwave bacon?
You enjoy it.
Yeah,
but...
I know. I should have brought peanut butter. Would have blown their minds. I had my mom send me a huge jar.
Candy so much, it's hard to believe there's no peanut butter.
There's no peanut butter! At least not when I was over there in the early 2000s. I had my mom send me a big jar of Skippy. I ate that all the time. It's cheap peanut butter.
They just looked at you and shook their heads.
What is this? What is this, American? Come on.
That bastard Peter Pan. I shall avenge myself on him.
So, yeah, it's complicated, right? I don't like the capitalistic part of it, and you have to I was reading too that you should, when you go on trips, you should bring a collapsible duffel bag to put in your luggage so you can put all your omiyage in it. It's oh my God. And and other things were saying, you should leave half a day to shop for omiyage. I'm oh my God. It's a lot. It's a lot. Anyways, Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Usagi brings tea up to her room for her and Fisheye to drink. And then Usagi runs on an errand for her mom, probably to buy some food, I'm thinking. She comes back with a bag, probably from, like, a kombini. I could not think of the word.
Get me some pork.
Some mommy's pickles.
So, no, she makes the pickles. Give me some cucumbers.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Villain gauge, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The lemur in this episode is named Mr. Magic Perot. His name, of course, is a reference to Perot, who is a stock character of pantomime and commedia dell'arte, whose origins are in the late 17th century Italian troupe of players performing in Paris and known as Comédie Italienne. I'm not sure if I'm saying that completely right, but this is the second baddie whose name is a reference to Perot. The first was B. Perot, a Cardian from episode 56. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was, yeah. They were like, it was like a performance. It was they had a lot of kabuki references in it.
Thank God we don't have to explain Commedia dell'arte.
Yeah, I know.
Again.
Well, here we go. Okay, I Googled Magic Perot because I was like, what is this? Am I going to find anything about this?
No.
To see if anything would show up?
No, you won't.
You would be surprised. There is actually a French band called Tapeworms, and they have a song that came out in 2021 called Magic Perot.
That doesn't seem like a thing, does it?
Listen to what I found.
Oh, no.
Some of the lyrics are, small yellow splash bounce by your feet, juggling in time, it switch you on, I'm out of breath, still I follow, the path you trace to your secure star, building up out of sight. According to Bandcamp, the band was on a trip to Japan when COVID was first started. They were surrounded by beautiful scenery and seeing the surreal real world events unfold on their phones. They stopped at a small restaurant in the small town of Shingu in Wakayama Prefecture called Magic Perot. So I went to their website, and Magic Perot is a crepe and burger place that has more than 250 items on their menu. So you know that it's good, right? It was founded 33 years ago in 1990. So did Sailor Moon animators name this character after a burger joint, or is it just a coincidence?
It might be the fact that Perot is a famous Japanese animation studio in Mitaka, who has done stuff like the 1980s Urusei Yatsura reboot.
Okay.
Or Fushigi Yugi,
yes.
the anime. Or Clamp School Detectives. So maybe a Great Teacher Onizuka. Stay tuned for that one.
Yes, right.
Maybe that's what it is.
All
it's
right.
also maybe that Pierrot is the Japanese loan word for clown.
That's true.
They don't say clown.
We think we've said that
Pierrot.
before.
So if he's just a Mr. Magic Clown.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Lemur design. He has skin as white as snow or white makeup. He's got a red clown nose, blue stubble beard, cat or mouse whiskers.
All right.
I don't know, man.
Okay. All right. Look, definitively, we have got to figure this out today. I'm not getting up until we figure this out. Is he a
mice
mouse
have claws like that? Because that's what made me think he was a cat.
That is a good tip in the right direction, I think. If you look at a picture of Toei's Puss in Boots, which we know is the basis of their logo and everything, to me the tail is the key, right? Like it seems like a thin tail, it does. Like a rat's tail or a mouse's tail, right?
It does.
So if Puss in Boots has a thick tail, then that's their idea of a cat. That's a cat in Japan. Although maybe it's a short tail, though, right? Because
it might be a
Japanese
short tail.
cats have short tails.
Yeah.
And here's the problem. Every picture I've ever seen of Puss in Boots from Toei has no tail. Because I guess it's in its pants. Because they're like, what are you talking about? Obviously, his tail would be inside of his pants. I can't help you. So it looks like I'm going to be sitting here all freaking night. Here's something else.
Yeah.
the ears are pointed. Now, in cartoon speak, a mouse's ears are round.
Yeah, so it sounds more like a cat.
Are pointed. So I think he's a cat.
I think he's a cat, too.
With a threadbare tail, let's say.
Threadbare tail with a little bow on it, just because he's fancy.
Well, you would dress up a cat with a bow.
You would.
But not a mouse.
Right.
That would be insane.
And you're trying to make your tail not look so incredibly thin, so you're adding decoration.
You're just trying to zhuzh a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
What's happening? Why do we do this?
I don't know. He's bald on top, and he's got spiky lime green clown hair on the side of his head. He has a unibrow and eyes that look like they're painted onto his face, which is creepy. He wears a yellow t-shirt that has a face on it, 2 large plus signs or crosses for eyes, and a large red mouth. He's also wearing a large red bow tie, large white gloves with the black claws coming out of them.
Yeah.
It's very strange. He is not Mickey Mouse. Do not get him confused with Mickey Mouse. This guy's got claws. He's got large purple clown pants with red stripes and ruffles at the bottom, large black clown shoes, and a purple and red striped party hat. So that's pretty much it. And yeah, he's very he taunts them a lot. Like, I was sent by Madame Zirconia to get rid of what's unneeded and just constantly telling them that they're unneeded. So we're up to our rating. His design is just, he's a creepy clown. The weird face on the shirt and the tail are probably some of the most interesting parts of the design. And he's a cat, which is weird and off-putting. He floats and rotates in the air, and he taunts the trio. He throws spades or pigeons out of his hat and they deal damage. His hat just seems like a black hole that swallows Hawkeye's fire, or no, it's Tiger's Eye's fire. What am I saying?
No, it's Hawkeye's fire.
It's Hawkeye's fire?
Yes.
Why did Hawkeye have fire?
I don't. They're circus people. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like Tiger's element. Anyways, and just changing Fisheye and Tiger's Eyes, attacks like the daggers into butterflies and the whip into a snake. That's pretty cool. He's really strong, and everybody's intimidated by him. I'm gonna give him 4 out of 5 dark stars.
Maybe these guys just have a certain quality that is, ironically, not ineffable, effable. Maybe we are effing the hell out of these bad guys. I don't know what's going on. I got no idea. Well, what's effing? I guess that's a verb. But if you're not being vulgar, if it's ineffable, you're unable to eff it. Has no one done anything with this?
I know.
All right, I gotta go to the comedy basement and work on this. I'll give him a 4. Look, I don't like him.
No,
I hate him.
Yeah.
But this is the most begrudging 4 I've ever given. He fits every single thing that I talk about. He has a strong design that works, but also there's enough. He's a cat.
Yeah.
Also, so there's a weird twist in it that keeps him from just being a hobo clown. He is incredibly powerful in that he completely Undertaker no-sells every single thing that the trio does, but still falls to the MGM because I guess that's how the show works. He's a real jerk.
Yeah.
And I think that he plays that up well. And so, man, I wish that I had any context at all for where he comes from or who he is or how he's different than other lemurs. If he is a lemur, I wish I knew any of that stuff, but I guess you'll have to take it on credit. And I'll just say for now, it's a 4. But at this point, I expect no explanations.
Take a bow or our rating on how our villains left the stage of life. He screams stage out with his hands in front of his face. 2 out of 5. I mean, I could give it a 1, but I'll give it 2.
You want these guys to do backflips and do dances for you.
I want more. It's just the same thing.
I'm giving him a 4 to spite you.
Fine.
Because I thought that he had a great screaming delivery of the stage out. Remember, they're limited to 2 words. Or maybe if they say Gollum or something, they can say, stage out Gollum. And I liked his bug eyes. And I also liked how he already looks weird and ridiculous with all his colors. But then they had him in like a weird kind of light. So he was like he was in headlights. And it sort of threw like his colors in his face and his like bugging eyes into like this relief. And I felt like, oh, that is horrific. Like he was horrific. He died as he lived horrifically. And so I got to honor that. And I'll give him 4.
All right. I just feel like we got way more mileage out of Lovely and way more variation than...
There was not a lot of mileage there. Lovely was... It was basically just Lovely every time. And then they would twist a little and show you their boobs and their butt at the same time in the classic comic book way.
Yeah.
And then
there was that.
Any scrap of variation in how they delivered Lovely would just get rave reviews from us. And I don't see what the difference is. This is exactly the same thing.
I just don't think it seems less varied to me.
The entire structure of this thing is falling apart. What is Supers doing to us?
I don't know. So this episode is the last appearance of the trio. So
pour one out.
We need to
for the Amazon trio.
We need to rate them as well.
They died as they lived in an alcoholic haze.
Right.
But then sprung back up again.
Yes.
With hangovers.
Yes.
Like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
This is another thing where they were struck down. Yes. And then they became more powerful than you could possibly imagine and turned into energy people.
They're Force ghosts?
Yes.
It's all Star Wars.
Look, I'm going to play this to the hilt.
All right.
What are we talking about here?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I want to preface that...
If you strike me down, I will be more drunker than you can possibly imagine.
That I believe. So my ratings, I took the assault aspect of the trio's attacks into my ratings, so it'll be reflect. Like, I'm not going to give them really high ratings because I of that aspect of them, and
well, then we'll have 2 different kinds of ratings because I respect what you're doing, but it is ultimately just a show. I don't have to like things. Like I just gave the terribly creepy and ugly clown a 4, and so I'll be giving ratings that are just based on how they succeed at what they are meant to do.
Oh.
No, you don't get to change yours.
No.
You've already got something written down. You're keeping it. No, we're going ahead.
Then I have to change
it. You're not changing it. You're not changing it. Let's go.
Whatever.
It'll be reflected.
So Tiger's Eye, he's a man of many disguises and he has a lot of style. He will go to a whole new level of weird, like just walking into someone's house. He gets really close to thinking about whether he wants friends or not, and then he's just like, "Nah, get your dream arrow." So I'm giving him a 2. I feel like I want to change that to a 3, but that 2 is what I had written down. Do we want to go back and forth?
Yes.
Okay, you next.
I'll give it the 3 that you could have given it, but you didn't.
See, I should have given him a 3.
Look. We've talked before. Okay, so this rating is like, it's 2 things at once. It's a wave and a particle at the same time. This rating is both how they accomplished, as a character, and I don't mean like in the story. I mean like, how did this character serve the whole thing? Mm-hmm. But also we rate it on a scale of considering all the people that we've seen. They have to stand up against other people, right?
Yep. Right.
That's how we do it, right?
Yes.
Or we don't. I don't remember. I don't know. I just gave the clown 4, so who cares? None of it means anything. And so I'm going to give him a 3. I think that he is one of the standouts of this season so far.
He is.
But on a continuum that includes, I don't know, people like Esmeralda.
Yeah, right.
People like Youzetaru.
Mehmet.
We can't, and people like Mehmet. I mean, he can't be more than them. That's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So I would think that he even though he doesn't go anywhere as a character, he is still entertaining. I love a buffoon. And I love somebody who has something that they care about,
Yeah.
whether or not it's a good thing. And he loves being attractive, and has a very high opinion of himself.
Yeah.
But then again, women just fall over themselves when they see him. So
They do.
What are you trying to say, Show?
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, but he's fun, and
he is fun. Like,
I
in
think he
spite
gets
of
it done. Yeah, and he's the leader of the Amazon trio.
What a guy.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I'll give him 3.
Okay, I should have given him a 3.
No,
Anyways,
too late.
Shut up. Hawkeye. Hawkeye has awesome hair and has a great zirconia impression. He gave us Mommy's Pickles, but honestly, he doesn't really have much personality as far as the other members of the trio go. And I feel like we don't see him as much. I'm going to give him a 2 out of 5.
I have to give him a 2 as well. I suppose 1 is on the table. I don't think he
deserves a 1.
Does Mommy's Pickles keep him out of the ones?
I think it keeps him out of the ones.
I think it does too. He just doesn't get. Here's the thing: you have a guy, a girl, and a person who we don't know, or something like that. He's just not as cool. Tiger's Eye.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they never gave him anything that would set him apart from Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye's brash and sort of and dumb. And Hawk is just kind of like not as brash and not as dumb. So
right.
That's kind of it.
Yeah.
And he's there to swoop up the older women, I guess. So It's like, all right, well. And he doesn't have any cool attacks, really. He steals Tiger's attack. He's
got 2 moves. Shake and bake.
Yeah. So I'll give him a 2.
Yeah.
For his 2 moves.
Fisheye. I like how sassy Fisheye is. I think that out of the trio, Fisheye is the one who grows the most and has the most defined character arc. I also think that Fisheye is the most empathetic out of the trio. So I'm going to give them 3 out of 5 Dark Stars.
Interesting.
But I would, if I gave Tiger a 3, I would give Fisheye a 4.
Well, too late for that. I'm giving Fisheye a 4.
See, mine should have been what you rated. So.
Well, I guess you'll have to learn for the future. And you're running out of chances to learn. Because, pound for pound, should they have a lower rating because they went on less sorties?
Not necessarily.
Well, maybe they should. We get a less chance to see them, but they made a higher impact in the less amount of time.
Yes.
And even before their kind of redemption arc started, every time that they had a victim, they had a connection to the victim.
Yeah.
And there was a story there.
Yes.
Culminating, really, the peak was the fashion designer guy. Mm-hmm. But still there was a connection. And Tiger's Eye, although it's fun, shallow people give us shallow stories, and so it's just like, I did like the one payoff of the, should I have friends?
I know.
No, I love myself too much.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. But that's all you can get out of that. And so we found deep reserves of pathos that I don't think that we expected to be in a character like Fish.
Yeah.
So I'm giving 4.
Okay.
4 for the Fish.
Sounds good. Now we're up to our rating. I love that Usagi saying that Mamo is the most handsome man in the whole world is what makes Fish realize that she's Sailor Moon. I think it's interesting that Fish knows who Sailor Moon is, but they don't tell Zirconia. I feel like it shows that Fish doesn't totally trust Zirconia.
Yeah.
And Usagi's dream mirror shattering is just really startling and scary.
Yeah.
I like that Fisheye and Tiger's Eye decide to revive Sailor Moon so she can fight Mr. Magic Perot. Somehow.
They get a wish.
I know.
Wish for a machine gun.
I know. I very conflicted, though, with Fish having kidnapped Chibi. It's like right after, let's Sailor Moon. And then like, whoop, here comes a Chibi.
It's completely superfluous.
I know.
Why does she kidnap Chibi? Maybe she's...
Because Pegasus is in her dream mirror.
I guess. So she's going to keep her... So if Zirconia had been like, what 100%. In fact, I will sign a document right now saying that you will be a human if we just get this done.
Right.
The Fish would be like, Great. And then, boop, Chibi drops down. They do a Y incision. And how do we get her out? Pegasus out of her?
I don't know.
And then they just take care of it right there.
Yeah.
But she was like, I'm going to squirrel this away in my fish pocket dimension.
I guess. Her little, like, swirl of water?
I'm turning all my ratings down by 1.
Oh, no!
There is a suggestion of a huge world here that apparently Ikuhara was too bored or too busy lining up another job to set up.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I mean, there's potential here, right? It just isn't always executed well.
I feel like by the time we left the Witches 5, I knew everything there was to know about the Witches 5.
Yeah.
And the basement lab and Dr. Giggles and everything else.
Yes.
I don't know these people at all.
No, I don't feel like I know them at all either. And that's, I think, the most disappointing thing.
Sorry.
So it's okay. I like that Pegasus turns the trio human, but then their bodies still die, and I find it really confusing.
Ironically, they're literally going to a forest where they might be happy as a hawk, tiger, and fish.
I know.
Yay, we've got human needs. I want to watch TV.
Right.
Oh, no, we got to go.
Well, we're just wills of the wisps
Here's my
now.
creepy forest, and you've got no limbs.
Right. You're trapped here with me.
Enjoy your dreams. Oh, my God. Did he bring them to hell?
I don't know.
Is that their hell?
He's like, here's the crystal forest. There'll be light here
Enjoy
someday.
This forest.
Oh my God. This is terrifying.
That's the evil horse's laugh.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I still have complicated feelings about the trio, like, even in this episode. Like, I mean, they Fish does a lot to help Sailor Moon, but the whole chibi thing. But overall, I feel like this is one of the better episodes that we've gotten in Supers, and maybe this is, me just being terrorized by bad episodes, but I'm going to give it a 4.
Oh. 3.
Okay, there you go.
With an eye on 2.
Okay.
When you finally start doing stuff, it doesn't mean that you didn't not do stuff for a long time before.
Yeah, I know.
But unlike whatever the hell I just said 5 minutes ago about our ratings system, I can't punish this episode for the other episodes dragging.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we did that a little in S because it just took so long to get to Mugen Academy. And then once we got to Mugen Academy, things are popping off.
Yeah.
And things are really start happening. Even though we got to spend all that time with Mehmet and Udial, which is good stuff.
Yes.
And so, anyway, remember when they were in the helicopter and like Pluto stopped time so they could get away?
It's so freaking good.
All right, we can't talk about it different. It's not going to work. So anyway, I give it a 3. Like I said, a real slog to get here. Once we're here, you've got, speaking of Star Wars and stuff, that's Vader turns on the Emperor. And he helps. Luke is lying there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Help, Father, please. And it takes the Emperor's lieutenant to turn on him in order to give, Luke this. Actually, Luke doesn't do anything. He just sits there. So Vader saves the day.
Yeah.
Right? And then Luke is only there left to mourn him. And so that's there too. Move over, true. T2 and Jesus. Here comes Luke Skywalker. But other than that, it's just, it's not a grand finale. It's more a grand finale. I'll give it a 3.
Wow. Well, that's completely fair. My English title is Human Perchance Dream.
It's a human, all too human. We're talking about Nietzsche this week.
Yes.
On Beyond Good and Eva. So check it out. Patreon.com/Sailor Noob. Here's my title. I don't know where we're going from here. It's, I feel more at sea. When Esberon turned into a dragon, I thought I had everything figured out. But
this makes sense.
Then I was wrong. So I can only title for today. And today's title is Clear Cutting the Amazon.
Next week, we're taking a week off, but we will be back in 2 weeks with shore leave.
I'm tired, boss.
Yeah.
I need a break.
I'm real tired.
It's July. It's summer.
It is.
And there's just so much going on. And I think just a week that we can claw back would really help. I'm plan, I mean, we're going to continue to do our Patreon shows.
Yes.
But I plan on not talking for like an entire week because I feel like I don't go to the doctor. I would never go to a doctor. But I feel the doctor would be like, vocal rest would be a good idea. Just don't talk. It doesn't matter. And that is not really an option in my career. And so I just need a little time. Just please give me a little time.
I know, right? I mean, what happens if you lose your voice?
Plus, we have to get out of the house for a weekend.
Yeah, we do.
Literally, because they're working on it. So
yeah, that's right.
That's also not going to be conducive to producing a show. But promise we'll be back end of the month for shore leave, and then right back into the second half of Sailor Moon Supers.
That's right. Well, that's our show for this week. In the Name of the Moon, we'll be punishing you in 2 weeks with another episode of Sailor Noob.
There's power in a union.